A lot of people are wearing red. Some of you are just wearing red in spirit, and that's good. Some of us do burgundy, because it's a family of red, for those of us who can't pull off red at all, which is just me. Everybody else here looks like they're good with red. So today is the first day in the Rainbow series, and this will be 7 or 8 weeks, I'm still deciding, where we are talking about grace, going into a deeper look at how grace works in our life. Now, most of us know, we've heard grace is a favor. It's a divine favor we don't have to earn. But grace is God working through us, for us, as us. Grace is that longing of spirit seeking to work through us. So grace is a high voltage energy. It's not like a gentle gift like we may have, gotten from our past. Grace is not gentleness. Grace is a high voltage energy. It is the energy behind synchronicities, right? Those moments in time where something happens and we're kind of like, ooh, did that just happen? Those moments where we receive an epiphany about something, we receive confirmation about something, right? The synchronicities that guide us to that next thing. This is what grace does for us. Grace is exactly what we need in the moment. It is anything that we could need. And grace will always guide us in the direction that is toward our brightest good. Okay, that is the nature of grace. That's why we experience synchronicity when we are in the flow with grace, when we are allowing grace. Grace is also a noun, and a verb. Okay, grace is a state of being, but grace is also an activity of being. We are the hands, the eyes, the ears, the mouth, the heart of God walking around on this planet. Now, we've participated in the activity of grace with other people, right? And we do this when our hearts are open. Now, you have felt this when you knew somebody who needed something, and it seemed like an easy enough thing to do, okay? A drive to the airport, or maybe a meal if they were grieving, or something that just seems so simple for you, but they seem to overreact with their appreciation in your mind, okay? Because what you have just done is you've done a small service with a high voltage energy that transformed them when they needed it. You see, it was easy for you to do, but it was just what they needed. It wasn't, you served them. That's what happened, is you served them. So we're either a receiver of grace or we're the generator of grace, right? So grace comes through us, for us, as spirit, but we continue it. We send it out into the world, okay? And we receive it from other people when we need it. So today I chose the color red because being able to walk in a state of grace and also be the activity of grace requires that we have faith in what it is that works through us, for us, as us. We were created in the image and likeness of our Creator. We were created to allow this energy to work through us, for us, as us. But we don't always remember that. We don't always remember that. Every struggle that we will ever have is because we are not remembering who we are and what we come from. Okay, that's every struggle will be based first in that we forget that we are a divine creation of a loving Creator. So we are a spiritual being having a human experience, and we make choices all the time. Every choice we make either empowers us because we're acting on faith, we're choosing to honor our divine nature, or our choice disempowers us because we've made a choice out of fear, and so we're not honoring our divine nature. Now, when we have faith in what works through us, for us, as us, our perception changes, and we are guided by that within us that knows what to do, how to do it, and compels us to act on what it knows right here and right now. Doors will be open to us. Even the obstacles and the challenges that are in our path, we'll know what to do. We'll be guided on how to handle those obstacles. The way will be made clear for us. We'll just know. We'll feel guided and supported, and we'll trust that the universe has our back. When we are not in a place where we have faith, we will feel the struggle. We might fear that we don't have enough, We'll be afraid of the obstacles and the challenges because we're going to feel like we have to figure it all out on our own, that we're facing it all on our own. We might believe we don't live in a friendly universe, and because we feel like we need to control life around us, we'll seek power. We will seek power over other people, get them to do what we feel is the safe thing for us in our lives. We might seek power through money, but we're not going to be trusting what works through us. Lack of faith will keep us from living our destiny. So today is about fate versus destiny. Now, I know these words are used interchangeably, but actually fate is when we just let things happen. Destiny is when we make things happen. Okay, so there's a subtle difference there. As a soul and a body, we were not put on this planet to just wait and see what happens. We were put here to make things happen because we have faith in the power that works through us, for us, as us. So we always know what to do next. This is the hero's journey, right? We're the hero in our own tale, and this is the hero's journey, moving from fate into destiny. Now, one of the greatest hero's journeys that was ever told is Star Wars, the story of Luke Skywalker. Thank you for finally giving me the opportunity to talk about Star Wars. Yeah. See, Luke Skywalker was on the hero's journey, and Obi-Wan Kenobi was put right on his path, right? And when Obi-Wan Kenobi told him, we need to get off this planet to save the princess, Luke's response was, oh, I can't do that. My family needs me, my tribe needs me. There are things that are expected of me. I just have to stay here where I'm obligated. Of course, then his situation changed and he had to flee for his life. The moment that he stepped on the Millennium Falcon, he moved toward his destiny. Now, excuse me, I just need a drink. Okay, so remember, destiny requires us to change. Fate doesn't. But if we're following our fate, we'll never move into the next brightest version of ourselves. I was just so excited to talk about Star Wars. Okay, so destiny requires us to change because it takes change to move into that next brightest version of ourselves. Because that's a different version of ourselves than we are now. And we all know if we keep doing what we're doing, we'll keep getting what we're getting. Now, to get started on the hero's journey, we have to have faith in how the universe works through us, for us, as us. So there are two things I'm going to talk about now that are the foundation of that. And the first thing is, are we giving and receiving with love and appreciation? Now, it's going to sound funny, but how we give and receive is very telling about where our faith is. And I think as we're growing up, we're not given the whole picture about giving and receiving. Who here ever heard give till it hurts? Right? That's like a crazy giving, I think, right? Give till it hurts? What? Now in the book of Luke, okay, how have you been told it's better to give than receive? Okay? All right. So in the book of Luke, Jesus says, give and it will be given to you. But he doesn't just say give and it will be given to you. He says, and then good measure, so much of it, it'll be running over as it is poured right in your lap. Right in your lap. Okay, so when we give and then we receive immediately, it comes back to us right here. It is dumped in our lap. There's so much of it is just pouring into our lap. Of course, as a kid, what I thought was, what this meant is that if I gave, I'd get back exactly what I gave. Now, from this verse comes the idea that what you give, you get back tenfold, right? Because it comes back to you poured over so much, it's just pouring into your lap. So I used to think, okay, so that means if I give like $25 to my favorite charity, I'll get back $25 or $250, right? That's what I thought. Never have I found that to happen. It's because it's not about what we're giving. It's about how we are giving. Deepak Chopra says in the 7 Spiritual Laws of Success, if through the act of giving you feel you have lost something, then the gift is not given and will not cause increase. It will not cause increase. Now I know sometimes we see homeless people and we want to give them something. And I have given money before and then thought, oh man, now I'm out that $10 or that $5 or whatever. And it felt like a decrease. It felt like a decrease because we can give with a lack consciousness. We can actually give with a lack consciousness. Now, every time we give, there's an energy behind what we are giving. What if you're asked to drive a family member to the airport or help a friend move? What's the energy behind that giving? Do you feel like you're taken advantage of? Okay, do you feel a little resentful or obligated that you have to do that? Or do you feel compassionate, like, oh, I'm glad I could do this for them because I know they are really needing some support right now? How we give comes back to us tenfold, just dropped right in our lap. So what this means is if we give out of obligation or feeling taken advantage of, we will, because we're not acting from faith that there's an abundance of all this greater good coming to us all the time. If we're acting out of impatience or like we're being taken advantage of, we're not going to be directed in the same way as we are if we were acting through grace. So what's poured back in our lap are more situations where we feel taken advantage of, where we feel resentful or obligated or impatient, okay, upset, defeated, because we're not acting through grace. Now, if we act through appreciation and love and whatever it is we're doing, because we're acting through grace, appreciation and love is grace, right? All of the good feeling stuff that makes us feel good, that means it's in alignment with our divine nature. That means it's grace working through us, for us, as us. So if we act with any of those intentions, grace is guiding us then to our next brightest good. Those are the situations that will be dropped, overflowing into our lap. Okay? Into our lap. So our faith in how the universe works through us, for us, as us, makes all the difference in how we're guided to give of ourselves. Right? If we have that faith, we act out of love, compassion, generosity. If we don't, we're not being guided by grace to our next brightest self. A small act of service done with a sincere desire to help sends forth a high voltage energy that creates more good than a huge act of giving done with a resentful heart. Okay? Right? And it feels that way. We know that. We know it. We know it. Okay, so receiving and giving need to be done in a perfect balance. Now, we give and receive with the universe. Okay, the universe will start off by giving divine direction. We act on that direction. We are giving back to the universe so it can respond to us. Okay, when we play a game of ball with somebody, we throw the ball and they respond by throwing the ball back to us. Right? So it's a give and a take. It's a response. So we act, the universe responds to us. That's the law. That is the law. That's a divine law. It has to respond. But we're also taught a lot of weird things about receiving. Okay? Now, Jesus did say this. Observe the birds of the sky, for they do not sow, neither do they harvest, nor gather into barns, and your Father in heaven feeds them. Why do you worry about clothing? Observe the wildflowers, how they grow. They do not get tired, nor do they spin. God clothes them in such a fashion. Isn't he much more mindful of you of a little faith, right? Have we heard that? He says, do not worry or say, what will I eat? What will I drink? What will I wear? He says, for worldly people seek after those things. Instead, seek first the kingdom, and all these things will be added to you. First time I read this, the first 100 times I read this, I thought it was a terrible metaphor. I did, because it sounded to me at first like, just sit around and wait for stuff to happen. You know, if the flowers can be clothed, so can you. So sit and wait for some clothes. And if somebody is really struggling in their life, I didn't think that this helped at all. Okay, if somebody is really struggling, living from paycheck to paycheck or meal to meal, what I had to understand was that Jesus did not in here anywhere say, let God do all the work. He said, do not seek after anything that you need, because you'll be in the problem. You'll be in the consciousness of the problem. Seek first the kingdom, which is that within that knows what to do, how to do it, and it compels us to act on what it knows. Seek first the kingdom, because it will tell us what to do. It will guide us step by step on how to bring that thing into our life that we are needing. But we can't focus on it as a need, because right there's the energy of lack. We're giving the energy of lack, which we'll get back tenfold, dropped right in our lap. More proof of things we lack. So we seek first the kingdom so that it will be added to us because we are guided on what to do. Okay, so we give and we receive. This keeps the law of divine compensation in perfect circulation, right? Giving and receiving. The next thing we need to do to really get grounded in this faith, because when we're giving and receiving purposefully, in a balanced way, and then we do this next thing, we are grounding ourselves in faith. And this next thing is accepting the package that our life is in right now. Now, we all have things in our life right now that we're like, oh, this is hard, or I'm struggling with this, or whatever, right? We all have our own little things, right? And if somebody is experiencing a hardship, we wouldn't blame them if they were stuck in blaming whatever caused the hardship. I mean, if somebody was in a car wreck and they had to get their have leg surgery like a dozen times, and they kept saying, man, if only that guy hadn't hit me, if only that guy hadn't run the stop sign, right? If only I had left 5 minutes later or 5 minutes earlier. When we get stuck in the if-onlys, we really stay stuck in the past. And of course, no one would blame us. We would be like, yeah, what was in that guy's head when he ran the stop sign? You know, we would be right there with him. But if we are stuck in the blame, we cannot receive the divine directive that is here right now, guiding us into the next brightest experience, that it is available. No matter what we're dealing with, there's a brighter experience that is available to us. And so I want to tell a story. You've all heard this story, but this to me is the most perfect story about accepting the package of a life. And it's the story of Helen Keller. Okay, Helen Keller, at 18 months old, this beautiful little baby girl got so sick that she lost her hearing and her sight. Her parents were devastated. I mean, this is a tragedy. This is a tragedy. And if we had been personal friends with her parents, we would have been right there. Oh my God, this is terrible. Why did this have to happen? Her parents even asked, why did God let this happen? Why did God let this happen? Now, of course, Helen got her teacher, Annie. Annie came into Helen's life, helped Helen get out of the prison of no sight, no sound. She taught Helen how to interact with the world. And we know that Helen Keller went on to write, to do public speaking, right? To be a transformational event for other people. Because when we see somebody who does what she did, what the package that her life came in, like what couldn't we do? Right? So she was a person bringing transformation. She told Annie one day after she'd been meditating that she actually had felt her spirit travel to Athens. And she said this, it was clear to me that I was a spirit. Space was nothing to a spirit. In that new consciousness shone the presence of God, who is a spirit everywhere at once, the creator dwelling in all the universe simultaneously. So Helen accepted her life as it was, not as a disability, but as a directive. She accepted her life. She said it was her mission in life to help the blind to see and the deaf to hear, and she was not talking about physical disability. Okay, that was not what she was teaching. Now, we each have a divine directive that is available to us right here and right now through the package that is our life. Now, fate is not going to ask us to change anything, so it seems easy. We just want to be fated to what we're fated to. We don't have to do anything new. We just keep doing what we're doing. But if we want to move into our destiny, move toward our destiny, embrace our new destiny, we have to do something different. Now, it doesn't mean that it's not going to be scary. It will. Look at Luke Skywalker. When he climbed on the Millennium Falcon, he was grieving, he was being chased, he was scared, and maybe there was a little bit of excitement in there somewhere, right? But he didn't just be like, oh yeah, that'll be easy, let's go. He didn't say that. He had to be drug onto that ship, actually. He had basically drug on there. Now, when we have faith in how the universe works, through us, for us, as us, we are walking in grace. We are grace generators for other people. We are in a state of grace because we're allowing that which works through us, for us, as us, to fully express into our lives. We see things differently, so we do things differently. We are aware of opportunities that we would not have been aware of without that faith. So until next time, remember that you are designed to give and receive this high voltage gift that we call grace, which always guides you toward your next brightest experience. The way is made open for you. In everything you do, you are blessed. And so it is. So it is. Amen. All right. So we're going to do our offertory now. And I'm going to ask our choir to come up.